All right. Hello, everybody. Dr. Rafich here, Vet Triage. It is 9:47 p.m. I'm actually in St. Louis, Missouri. So it's about 10:47 p.m. East Coast time and 7:47 p.m. in Pacific time. So I'm in a hotel, and that's why it's a weird background. Anyway, I figured before we call it a night and get ready for this conference this week, I will talk about the issues veterinarians are facing, and this is going to be from the perspective of the I think live stream may have restarted. YouTube, doing great. YouTube. I think it's why people use what is it called? Twitch. I think people use Twitch for streaming because this this platform I can never tell if it's restarting or not. So I'm just going to start over. This is Dr. Shadia Rafich from Vet Triage. It's 9:48 p.m. I'm in St. Louis, Missouri, and so it's 10:48 p.m. East Coast time and 7:48 p.m. Pacific time. Here for a conference. This is why it's a weird background. I'm in a hotel, and we're going to talk about mental health in the vet field. We're going to talk about it from the perspective of the veterinarians, specifically their personality types. And there's only been one study that I know of from the UK that looked at personality types for veterinarians. It was a pretty, in my opinion, a bit of a weak study, but it is pointing to the right direction. I'm not sure I agree with the results either. I wonder if they had a larger pool of veterinarians, if the results would have changed. But and also I wonder if UK vets in terms of personality are different than Australian, American, Canadian. So, but it's a good first move. So let's talk about why that study even did its thing. Um, Now, the veterinarian, in order to be a great veterinarian, you have to have pretty much two attributes to you. One is you've got to be good at business, and the second is you've got to be empathetic. Those are two markers of success, I feel. And by success, I mean a veterinarian who's financially successful, they're making money, living comfortably, not worried about paying the bills, and they also enjoy what they do. They have a healthy balance. And so that's successful, in my opinion, in terms of the veterinary world. And so the problem you have with those two combinations, and again, I'm being very basic about this, is a complex issue, but for the sake of this live stream, and for those who are watching the playback, the veterinarians in general tend to be very strongly animal loving people, obviously, and they don't really like people that much. They prefer animals, and so because of that, they tend to be typically a bit more on the introverted side, a bit more a little bit higher in the neuroticism side, a bit more agreeable. They don't really push back that much, and when they do, it's kind of emotionally driven, um, high anxiety, and they're very empathetic. So these features of the personalities. Again, this is from my own experience and working with many veterinarians. It's great for animal care. It's great. I mean, that's the kind of personality profile in general you want with someone taking care of your animal or your child or whatever. But it doesn't do well for their own mental health because they can't separate the work from personal, and they also tend to sacrifice not just their own well-being for the sake of being a good veterinarian, but also financially taking a lot of hits. The amount of veterinarians who do things for free, it's insane. And I mean, I don't mean just free advice. I mean, which is a problem. I mean, like free blood work, free ultrasounds, free x-rays, just to like get the answer and help the pet owner out and figure it out. And some of it is defensive medicine. Some of it is veterinarian insecurity, imposter syndrome, this kind of crap, which we can always dive into in another video. But essentially, veterinarians are just sacrificing themselves and their business to be better veterinarians for the sake of the animal, when it doesn't really lend well to their own personal health and well-being, nor does it help the business side of it. And then, of course, because veterinarians are that personality profile, on the flip side, they are bad business people in general. It's the rare veterinarian that's good at business, good at managing people, understanding how sales works, marketing, client perception, buyer's remorse, all this stuff. And they don't have those abilities. And why should they, right? We want them to be focused on animals and care about the medical stuff. We don't want them to be money hungry salespeople. That's not what we're looking for. But they have to be that to some degree if the profession is going to survive, because you have to make money in order to continue going to work and keeping the lights on, so to speak. So you need to have both sides. And it's also the reason why the veterinary field is so weird, because it's a combination of sales and medical. When you go to a hospital, because of insurance, you don't know what you're spending. You don't know what they're charging for stuff because you have health insurance, hopefully, and it's taking care of it, right? So you don't even feel it. It doesn't. You don't have a doctor coming into your examination room or in the ER, the ICU, and saying, okay, well, here's your estimate. This is all the things we want to do with you. Does that work with you? And you start taking things off the list. It doesn't work that way. In the vet field, it does very much so. We'll make an estimate. What do you think? They'll say, okay, well, is all this necessary? I can't afford all this. All right, what can you afford? Like, I can do this much. All right, well, we can take away this and this, and maybe we'll do that one later. And then we start to negotiate. So it's a very weird way of conducting a medical facility, but that is how it is. And then you also want to combine it with the hospitality of like a hotel, where we give the customer the experience, the great experience, the Disney magic, And so all those things combined make it where veterinarians are their own worst enemy. The profession sort of feeds into that. There's no real good outlets for them to learn more about mental health and try to find a work-life balance and become more business savvy and understand it's okay to be a business savvy, but also, it's not their fault. I mean, personality types are what you're born with. You can't really change that. And then veterinary school, they already have a hard time fitting all the information they want you to learn in 4 years, let alone also teach you time management, managing a team, owning a practice, lawsuits, everything. So there's just no way. So it's a tough field, but anyway, that's probably a good place to stop and a good place to start actually ongoing conversations about mental health. Hopefully when we get more audience members in this live stream, we can have a bit more of a discussion about it. It is something that I'm definitely passionate about, and we need to fix it because the profession is dying as we speak. So people wonder why they can't find veterinarians after hours for emergency. Well, this is one problem is that we're killing our vets. And because a lot of sick animals, not enough vets, and the vets who are there are not taking care of themselves. So, all right. Well, we'll talk to you guys again. I'm going to try to be on tomorrow, the next until September 11th, 12th. I'm at this conference, so we'll see what kind of time I can make for the live streams. But thanks to those who watch on the playback, and let me know if you have any questions or suggestions. We'll talk to you soon. Bye. 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 Bye.